I've been working with PARTEQ for about 8 years now, and it's been a great relationship. I've sent a number of different technologies to PARTEQ, and they've been able to understand what they are, understand the relevance and why it's useful, and then protect it for me with patent applications, and then even send it on to Green Centre Canada, which has been just great.
So in about 2007, I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit more entrepreneurial. And through a sequence of events, my path crossed the path of John Malloy and PARTEQ Innovations. And what struck me almost immediately was the outside-the-box thinking that goes on at PARTEQ. Almost from day one, John and I started exchanging ideas on how you can do things differently in the chemical sciences, because it's the chemical arena. It's a capital-intensive market sector. It's a risk-averse market sector, and yet it's a segment of technology that can provide so much positive impact both through the economy and to quality of life.
I was looking for some ideas to try to bring to commercialization, so I figured no better place than PARTEQ.
PARTEQ brings together a diverse set of skills and personalities and people and experience in the world of technology transfer, and they've been able to apply all of those resources to help us move our business forward.
PARTEQ is the integral part of Queen's University, where PARTEQ helps the researchers to bring their inventions and discoveries to the marketplace. PARTEQ helps us in protecting the IP which we develop here, and PARTEQ also helps us in forming the startup companies.
One of the greatest benefits I've had is having Queen's have a technology transfer company called PARTEQ. PARTEQ allows us to, it's done a number of different benefits for me as an inventor trying to develop a commercial product and company. Most importantly has been to gradually help us with a number of the small baby steps that are required to get to a commercial entity.
One of the first stages before you can commercialize an idea is to be able to patent that idea. And PARTEQ has been helpful in that aspect, in that they have helped us write up our ideas, our scientific ideas, in terms and languages that are appropriate for patenting, and they have been with us all the way through this patenting process.
We had a good idea, we just didn't know if it was a good idea that solved a real technological problem. We went to PARTEQ, they helped validate it, they helped us talk to industry, they helped us find out where we could really have a big impact. They helped us in those conversations with industry that have made this project really move forward at breakneck speed.
So I approached PARTEQ because I thought I had a very novel technology, and from an earlier discussion with Jason Henry when I first started at Queen's, he encouraged me to think about technologies that might be commercializable. So when I came up with something new, I thought that would be worth exploring, and that's when I went to PARTEQ.
Investments in fundamental research are critical to enable us to devise disruptive technologies. These disruptive technologies need to eventually make it from the lab into a commercial space. And this is the bridge that PARTEQ provides. My area of research is in fluid mechanics and turbulence, as well as in biomechanical systems, as well as renewable energy. One of the reasons that PARTEQ is so important to my research is that the type of research that I do is of a fundamental nature. And as a result, it takes some time for it to come to some form of fruition.
The invention was the actual cloning of a gene, but that had many sort of consequences, because a gene is just a gene, but there are a lot of products that can be derived from a gene, and so that was part of the intellectual property, I guess. It was found in a drug-resistant lung cancer cell line, and so there was a lot of excitement about whether it might be helpful to actually tackle drug resistance in lung cancer, which is a disease that's very, very resistant to successful treatments in cancer. So it's been a problem for decades and decades, and it still continues to be a problem. So this was a potential window on solutions to that problem of drug resistance in lung cancer.
There's one particular company, Laser Depth Dynamics, a technology out of the physics department, that I'm really interested in. It seems like it's got good commercialization potential, customer interest already at this early stage. So I'm focusing a lot of my efforts on trying to get that company, well, founded the company now, but trying to get that company off the ground and make it a success story.
Green chemistry is a study of how chemistry is done in industry, and in more specifically finding ways to do it with less environmental impact. I make what I call switchable solvents, meaning solvents that can change themselves. So they can dissolve something and then they can release that something. And these are really useful in a number of different applications in industry.
My invention is called KinArm. It is a robotic device that attaches to your arms, and it measures how you move, but importantly can apply forces and loads so we can sort of bump your arm and see how you respond. We use the device for basic research to understand sensory motor control and motor learning, and we also use it for clinical assessment to develop new diagnostic tools for assessing brain function.
We have an exciting discovery, which is a new way of looking at ultrasound images. As you know, ultrasound images are used in medical diagnosis as well as tools to help in biopsy operations. But ultrasound images are very noisy, and interpreting them often is extremely tricky. So we have a new way of, if you like, adding more information to ultrasound images by putting a probability map on the ultrasound image, which tells the physician or a clinician about what they're looking at, and perhaps if part of it has higher probability of, for example, being cancer.
At ePower, we are working on a number of technologies. This technology involves electric cars. It involves developing the power solutions for more electric aircrafts and data centers.
Having the grad students and postdocs involved in the relationship with PARTEQ is wonderful for those students and postdocs, because they can learn how to take an idea into a product, into an intellectual property. That's great experience for their future careers.
I can help my grad students and help in their training, but it's so important for them to encounter real-world problems and interact with the engineers out there who are having those problems.
When the new companies are formed with the help of PARTEQ, the graduate students who had been working on those projects get excellent experience in learning how to set up a new company and also how to bring their research to the marketplace.
I've really enjoyed working with everyone at PARTEQ. Everyone has been very open and friendly and very supportive and encouraging of my technology. I find it to be a stimulating new direction for my research, to have a technology that could maybe actually be taken to the clinic within a short period of time.
Working with them over the last year or so has been a really fun experience. They've been able to point out things that I haven't learned as a technical trainee in the university, and so it's been very helpful.
Researchers at Queen's have access to PARTEQ, and I've visited a lot of the tech transfer offices across the country at different universities, and PARTEQ is special for two reasons. First, they've got more bandwidth, more people, more resources, and second, because they understand chemistry. And for a chemist, that's incredibly important. Tech transfer offices that don't have that ability to understand that field are really disadvantaged compared to PARTEQ.
It has been extraordinary, I must say. We are dealing with people that are extremely knowledgeable in what they do, as well as very knowledgeable in other technical areas.
PARTEQ has been amazing. They really helped me on every level in terms of advancing my research. They've opened up new doors in terms of funding. They've helped with patents and moving forward with IP. And they've also helped with moving forward with my technology in terms of finding corporate partners who would be interested in my work.
As a physicist, there are certain things that I just didn't learn about. I didn't learn about IP. I didn't learn about how to properly interact with a company, how to even market or how to talk to a company. PARTEQ has been able to fill in that gap between, I say, the fundamental research and the ideas that we have in an academic setting, and how to make those ideas useful, or show how useful they could be in an industrial setting.
The PARTEQ was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we would never, I don't think, have protected this this discovery without PARTEQ.
Finally, I'd like to say thank you to PARTEQ and all the folks there for all of their help.